Hi there, I'm Sarah Mansfield. Welcome to Life of Mansfield. Today we're going to talk about my very first and brand new art collection, Head in the Clouds. Hi there, I'm Sarah. In case you're new here, welcome to Life of Mansfield. I am Sarah Mansfield. I am an artist, writer, and creator, and I have launched my very first art collection online on Society6, Head in the Clouds. It's a mini collection, but there's so much more to come soon. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to talk to you today and answer some questions about the collection and about my art. I first realized that I wanted and needed to share my art when I made some really great friends in Canada in 2016. They were also very creative artists and inspired me so much. In particular, I have this one friend. His name is Michael. He was nervous about sharing his art and didn't even really believe in it all that much. His art blew me away. Just so magical, so inspiring. To see that he couldn't see that in his own art was mind-blowing to me. So at this time, I was just starting to create again myself. I hadn't created for years. I mean, any art practice. And even before that, it wasn't something I was committed to doing or did on a regular basis. Around 2016, I couldn't stop the voice of creativity within myself anymore. It was just screaming at me to come out. I started drawing in my journals. It really just all started to pour out. And when I made these friends in Canada, Ramona and Michael, and many more amazing friends, they really showed me that I had something of value to say and to share. I didn't feel like there was anything special about my art, but I always knew that I needed to create. I needed to be making art, even though I didn't feel it was good enough, like Michael. I realized I wasn't alone in that feeling, and I got this huge desire to make sure that other artists, other creatives who don't feel like their voice matters or that their art is good enough, that maybe they would see someone like me putting my art out there and taking that risk and sharing it with the world, and that maybe they would be encouraged to do the same. I thought it was really important to share my process of learning who I am as an artist, because that's the part that we never really get to see from other people, is where did it all begin? How did you become an artist? How did you go from here to here? How did you improve? Why did you even want to do your art and get better? And what were your dreams and goals? I really wanted to overcome all of the things that ever stopped me from doing art in the first place. I knew I had to do this for other people. I had started letting that creativity out, and I sort of did art off and on in my journal. I mean, very few and far between. I can't stress that enough. It was not like I was doing art on a regular basis, or when I did it, I didn't do a lot. I was in Washington and moved back to Portland in 2018, where ironically enough, I became an art teacher, which I did not have the qualifications for, but I'm so grateful that they saw something in me. I had worked with kids for many years, so that was about all the qualifications I had. I wanted to be an artist, but other than that, I didn't really do art. I became an art teacher for kids, teaching them and inspiring them, and that was just such a wonderful experience to show me how art can be fun and you can just have the most bizarre ideas and run with it and play. Art is play. It was really helpful to be around other creatives. I started to feel that creative energy a lot more, but then COVID hit, so I had to leave my job. During COVID, it really made me think about what I wanted for my future and what my big dreams were. I've always known that I have really big dreams, but I never knew what that meant. It wasn't until about 2021 where I really felt this need to create. I had tried so many times before, but I just always made excuses of why not to start, or self-doubt would creep in and I wouldn't do my art. Towards the end of 2021, I really knew that I wanted to take up space on YouTube and let people follow my process of how I am finding my voice as an artist and creative. I was having a launch party to kind of relaunch Life of Mansfield, and that happened in March of 2022. Really, it was then, just before that party, that I had picked up paint and a canvas since I lived in Washington back in 2016. Even over that year of following my process, still it was kind of here and there. I really began to put my foot down for myself and say, you've got to create. Now's the time, no more excuses. We've got to do this because it's not just for me, it's for other people to help them find their voice. I really started to go for it and I wanted to see what I could do. I really started to build momentum with my doodles. Once I could see even the slightest improvement and I was finally able to communicate what was in my mind through my hands and onto the paper, it really excited me because I could see that the art in my imagination was coming to life. So I just started to run with it. I'd say right now my favorite medium is doodling in my sketchbook. It's just really freeing and fun, no pressure. I can just let my imagination run free. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I still struggle a little bit with trying to make it perfect. But I'm having more fun and more freedom than I've ever experienced before. When I want to get my ideas down even faster, that's when I'll draw digitally on Procreate. I think I've spent my career life trying to just make ends meet and trying just to survive. I was told when I was younger, don't do the thing you love the most for a job. Terrible advice. Because then I always had in my mind that I can't create, I can't be an artist, I can't be a writer for my job because I never want to get sick of it. I never want to hate it because it's something that I need to make me money to live. I didn't want to end up resenting my creativity, so I went other routes where I worked in retail and I worked with kids. Then I kind of just got to this point where I was sick of working for everyone else, not doing the thing that I loved for my job. So I came full circle and realized, what am I doing? I need to create. I need to create and be an artist all the time. That is me. That is my soul. That's how I breathe. So by golly, I'm gonna do it. And I have this bigger goal of creating the chateau, as we call it, an artist retreat. I want something that can support me while I am creating this other bigger dream. I have actually tried to sell art, I think twice before. I had done just a few paintings years ago, maybe around 2010. Went to this show called Pancakes Booz, and it's an art show where so many artists get to have their art for sale. I didn't sell a thing, and just recently I had some little paintings at a gallery for sale, some art blocks. Those did not sell. No, I've never sold my art before. I am still overcoming self-doubt, but I've come such a long way, and I am even surprised myself with how far I've been able to boost my confidence and feel like I like what I create. And I want to share it, and I'm not embarrassed to share it. Really, it's been one tiny step forward and then 100 steps back, and then one other tiny step forward and then another 100 steps back. It's just deciding to not give up, that I'm gonna do everything I can to make this work. I'm not gonna give up on myself. I'm really gonna give myself a good, fair shot. What I have to say is important and matters, because I believe that about other people, right? So it's got to be true for me too. Also finally realizing that nobody starts at genius level. Everyone starts from the beginning. In school, we always learned about the genius artists and the Van Gogh and Monet and just how fabulous their art is. But we never got to hear their beginning journey of how they struggled and where they started and how they didn't know how to do art when they first started doing art. They just started and they figured it out along the way. And I've got to say that with the help of Nick and Ramona and my mom, their encouragement, especially on my worst days, has really kept me going and helped me to believe in myself that much more. I think what's most important in all of this is showing other people that they have a voice and that it does matter. I really want to reach the people that don't believe that, because I didn't believe that for myself either. And I want other people to feel seen and heard and know that they're special and magical. I want this to be accessible. And it's really important for me to keep this affordable, because not everyone can afford to buy art. There's a lot of different things that I want to incorporate eventually along the way that will help make it more accessible and affordable to everyone. At the same time, I do understand that there is an industry standard for artists, and it's important to keep that level growing so that artists don't have to be starving artists, that they can get paid what they're worth. What happens is if you move into the artist market and they're growing it, but then you price your stuff really low, then you're lessening their value. So I don't want to just come in and pass out art for free everywhere, and I need food and a place to live. I need money to live too. I want to value those other artists that should be getting paid what they deserve. I want to keep my prices in a range that is fair to all the other artists, but also come up with ideas to make it accessible for people who might not be able to afford it. Yeah, I definitely want to make this my career. It's not the end goal. I have this bigger artist retreat goal, but I know that I have to be creative. I come alive so much when I am being creative, and I realize that I can't go back to the way it was before. I cannot ignore now what has come to life in me. I have to be creative, and I have to do this for myself, and I have to see where it can take me. One thing I'm really conscious of is I didn't want to be the person who just helps everyone else's art thrive and not allow my art to thrive as well. I didn't want to use that as a crutch or an excuse to not do my art. I was tempted to go in that direction, but I just cannot help this gnawing question inside of me of what am I capable of? How big could I make this? Not like big and famous, just how big can my ideas become in the real world? I think that right now, the biggest thing that I can dream up is having this really great big gallery show experience. I feel creativity in every single way, through my eyes, through my heart, through feeling and smell and every part of it. Just the whole experience of art. I really want to create this lived out experience that people can walk through and explore and inspire them. So for the Head in the Clouds collection, there's this huge backstory of actually my own art being my inspiration. Back in 2016, and it was a really difficult time for me. Really the only thing at that moment that I was finding joy in was breakfast. The way that breakfast would sit on a plate and just do little quirky things and make silly designs on your plate, how the food was placed, it just made me happy. It gave me something to look forward to and wake up to the next day. I actually decided to paint some mini canvases of breakfast plates with breakfast food on it, and it was kind of a pop art style. It was the colors of paint that I had, and I was just drawn to really bright colors. I never ended up finishing those paintings then. I only started them, maybe painted one completely out of 6, I think. It wasn't until I was relaunching Life of Mansfield where I wanted to finish those paintings. I wanted to decorate for the party. I was feeling strong, vibrant colors, and I thought I could finish my breakfast paintings and it could be fun and bright and colorful and pop art like, because that's what felt good and made me happy at that moment. There was a painting that I was doing right until the party started, literally just before. It was a painting that I knew I wanted to be a portrait. I didn't know what I was gonna paint up until the last minute, and I was like, okay, what is a simple way to finish this painting? I envisioned the striped shirt, and I was like, there's no way I can paint a face in the time that I have. What if I just put a cloud over it? And it's like, my head's in the clouds. And I know I'm not the first person that's ever done that image of putting a cloud for a head, but that I just felt inspired to do that. So I did that painting. And I kind of fell in love with it. I kept thinking about this painting months after and just kept coming back to that idea. I decided to draw it digitally. I just loved it. The more and more I drew it, the more I loved it. As I was trying to find my style, the more I just felt that this is something I can build on. This is something I feel excited about. And it's a simple idea, but it's so fun and I can take it in so many different directions. And it was just fun and lighthearted. It didn't feel like it was something serious that I could mess up or make mistakes with. So I was like, okay, let's take this and run with it. So red was actually my very favorite color for the longest time. I ended up dyeing my hair red. I always loved fiery colors the most. I'm a Leo. I'm fiery and bright. Eventually, I started to get tired of red and wanted something a little bit more softer. So orange was kind of a perfect balance between that fire and that softness. And also when I went to school in 2010 to 2012, I went to school at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles, majored in visual communications, and we had this huge portfolio project that we had to do at the end of our schooling. And I had to come up with a logo. I chose orange for my color and it just felt right. It just felt me. It felt playful and happy and relatable. That's kind of been my color ever since. I really love how blue is the complementary color to orange. Just those two together are so beautiful, and there's just this amazing feeling that I get when I put the two together. So blue and orange kind of became the color that I wanted to stick with. So, of course, my favorite print in this collection is the OG, the head in the clouds cloud person with the orange shirt and the blue background. That is my absolute favorite because it's what started it all. You can take a look at this collection and see all the different products that it comes on Society6.com. I will put a link for you so you can go check it out. Next, I'm hoping to start a Patreon, possibly commissions, and maybe even get into some markets next year. I am really excited for what's coming up with Head in the Clouds collection. I've got a spin-off collection that's gonna be coming soon, but before that we've got fall and Halloween coming up. So excited to put those out because I'm really having a lot of fun with those. And after that we'll move into holiday and maybe eventually see some more of those emotional pieces that I've posted on Instagram. Down the road, I think I would love to try to make some zines or graphic novel comics, that kind of thing. Just create an actual story out of some of my characters. Thank you guys so much for being here with me and listening to me answering questions about Head in the Clouds collection. Check it out on Society6. To follow more of my journey, follow me on Instagram, Pinterest. If you would love some more inspiration, like, comment, subscribe here. I hate having to ask you to do that. It's so silly, but it helps out so much more than you could even know, because the more likes and comments and subscribers that I can get, the more people that can see this video and see my art, and other creatives will be able to be inspired by my process and me just starting out. And I think a lot of people really need that. A lot of people really need to see the beginning stages of finding your creative voice. So please support me. If you're not into my art, that is totally fine. Please just go support other artists, buy their art. Let's get rid of starving artists. Let's let artists be the new kings and queens of society. Thank you so much. I love you all. Let me know if you have any other questions that you would love for me to answer for you. I would love to just continue the conversation, and let me know. What are your questions? What are your thoughts? Did you already check out the Head in the Clouds art collection? Do you have a favorite piece? A favorite product that you saw on there? Even if you didn't buy it, let me know. I would love the feedback. Us artists can always use even the tiniest bit of encouragement. That's what's happening in this moment. We'll see what happens in the next moment. Talk to you so soon. Bye. You can, right now you can buy, still hard to say, really, even after I've launched the whole collection.